The shoegaze genre is making a comeback, and artists like Wisp, Novulent, VIRA, Cloudyfield, Trey, What's a Heart, Cry Out Loud, and many more are leading the charge. Or at least that's what we think. Because beneath the surface level, something's very off. What was once a very innovative genre is now very homogenous, and many shoegaze songs sound eerily similar now. The question is, why is this happening? And more importantly, is modern shoegaze cooked? The year is 2023. Shoegaze has started to make a comeback, but no one really knows where it's going. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, a genre-defining song drops.
Her voice is so f***ing magical.
It's like mixing Smashing Pumpkins together with Amira Altheki.
Check out her whole catalog. We'll check out all her other music.
A song that's felt like it's always existed, drenched in reverb and nostalgia and effortlessly melancholic. That song was Your Face by Wisp. From the washed out, distorted guitars to the hazy vocals, everything about Your Face screamed shoegaze, and it has amassed millions of streams over the years. The song has that magic that makes it feel raw, authentic, and real. But what if I told you none of it was real?
I made Your Face last April, and I had went on YouTube and just searched up like a beat pack. I heard this one by Shoegaze that I really like.
Wisp didn't make the song, a guy named Shoegaze did. And it's not just Wisp who's guilty of this. Almost every modern shoegaze artist at one point or another has had Shoegaze produce one of their songs. You see, a thing in common between Cloudyfield, VIRA, Wisp, What's a Heart, Cry Out Loud, and many more is that they've all credited Shoegaze on at least one of their songs. But who exactly is Shoegaze? Shoegaze is a YouTube producer known for uploading alt-rock and shoegaze type beats. Though not an artist himself, his beats are widely used across the genre. Despite his growing reach, Shoegaze maintains no public persona.
He's a pretty big mystery, to be honest. If you ever try to reach out to him, ain't no way he gonna answer that.
Producers like Shoegaze played a big role in modern shoegaze's comeback. But let's talk about modern shoegaze. I think it could be better. Back in the 90s and the early 2000s, shoegaze was a genre defined by how innovative it was. Bands like My Bloody Valentine and Slowdive weren't just making music, they were making an entire genre. The label for My Bloody Valentine almost went bankrupt after the production of Loveless due to how much experimentation was being done. On the other hand, modern shoegaze, especially in the online underground, seems to recycle the same sound over and over again. Artists seem to prefer to chase a sound rather than a vision, and it's making the genre sound very homogenous. Shoegaze now, instead of innovating itself, seems to try to appeal to an audience and aestheticize itself. Just look at this bullshit. Like, what the f do words even mean anymore? To prove my point, I looked over the lyrical content of over 70 modern shoegaze songs, and here were the results. I found that over half of the sampled songs have breakups to be the central focus of the lyrics, with an additional 20% being about an over-romanticized idea of love. At some point, shoegaze songs stopped being boundary pushing and instead tried to appeal to an audience. But don't take my word for it, let's look at an actual artist in the scene's opinion. Cry Out Loud.
It's iconic.
Iconic! Ooh, iconic, I love you.
Here's what he had to say in the interview. So you're one of the few artists nowadays that produces most of his own stuff. How important do you think that is to your identity?
I think sound design is pretty important to differentiate between artists. I always try to make things differently than any other, just to sound like me and not like every other artist on this planet, you know?
Yeah, I respect that. So have you used any type beats in your work before?
To be fair, even though I hate type beats, I have used them before in 3-4 songs, I guess.
All right. To add on to that, how do you think type beats are affecting the shoegaze genre as of today?
On the one hand, it's cool that everyone has access to making music, but on the other hand, the type beat wave just kind of makes everyone's sounds the same, you know? If you think about shoegaze artists and scroll on TikTok, there's a 95% chance you heard this before, even though you never heard it before, just because it sounds exactly the same.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not a fan of that TikTok-y shoegaze either. Shoegaze seems to have been stripped of the very thing that made it so great. It's very easy to see the state of the genre today and be like, yeah, it's cooked. But while some artists are declining due to their lack of originality and quality, other artists are standing out to be the future of the genre. Let's look at artists like Cloudyfield and Violent VIRA. Although both of their careers started out on YouTube beats, they're now both producing their own songs, and let me just say, they're pretty damn good.
Oh,
I like it. I like it.
hold on.
Damn.
This is fire, dude.
This is really good. Crowd Loud said he was producing this one.
Yeah, Crowd Loud, he snapped on this too. I think the production is way better since like Next to Nothing. It had some elevation, like it reminds me a lot of, you know, In Your Head.
I was so hyped for this drop that I set my VPN to New Zealand so I could listen to it before everybody else. And let me just say, I was not let down. This track felt so much more personal than her other ones, and she's really starting to develop her own sound. I was especially surprised by VIRA's new single, Saccharine. While I think her past work was a bit iffy, this one totally surprised me, and this really marks the point in her career where she elevates herself. Artists like these are the things that are keeping the genre alive today. Maybe they'll even redeem it one day, but until then, a lot of things need to change. And yes, I know I did call VIRA shoegaze even though she's not shoegaze, but we need to stop calling everything shoegaze. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, that's all I have for y'all. Thank you for watching. Before I go, I want to give a huge thank you to Cry Out Loud and Cloudyfield.
Say hello for the upcoming video.
Cry Out Loud did awesome on these interview questions, and I was really glad to work with him. And Cloudyfield promoted the out of my last video, and I got a decent amount of views, and it's probably the reason why I'm doing this right now. So thank you to both of them, really.